Nicola Sturgeon is coming under pressure to resign as Scotland's First Minister as pressure continues to build on the SNP leader across social media. The pressure against Ms Sturgeon has intensified after Alex Salmond, her predecessor as First Minister, reportedly claimed she breached the ministerial code by misleading the Scottish Parliament. In submissions to an inquiry into sexual assault claims against him, Mr Salmond claimed the SNP leader's evidence over when she knew about the allegations was simply untrue. She had initially told Holyrood she first heard of the complaints of sexual misconduct against her predecessor at a meeting with him at her home on the 2nd of April, 2018. But during Mr Salmond's subsequent criminal trial, it was revealed Ms Sturgeon had been made aware of the allegations at an informal meeting with his former Chief of Staff Jeff Aberdeen on the 29th of March, just days earlier, with the First Minister later insisting to the inquiry she forgot about the meeting. Mr Salmond was cleared of all sexual assault charges following the trial. Former First Minister Mr Salmond said in his inquiry submission the meeting in March of that year had been arranged after Mr Aberdeen was told of 2 allegations made under a new complaints procedure set up in light of the Me Too movement. Mounting pressure has grown on Ms Sturgeon amid the claims and has led to increased calls for her to resign as Scotland's First Minister. George Galloway, the former Labour MP and vocal critic of Ms Sturgeon and the SNP, tweeted, "The First Minister's days are numbered. Resign Sturgeon First Minister." A second person wrote on Twitter, "I see resign Sturgeon continues to trend. Despite this being a dreadful time for the whole country, I'm glad the news is getting out that decent Scots want rid of her and her tawdry, twisted government." Another person commented, "If Nicola Sturgeon has breached the ministerial code, she must resign. Anything else would be Trumpian." A fourth person wrote, "If she's lied to Parliament and the Scottish people, she has no option but to resign." According to the Herald newspaper in Scotland, Mr Salmond said, "This preliminary meeting was for the purpose of discussing the complaints and thereafter arranging a direct meeting between myself and the First Minister. There was never the slightest doubt what the meeting was about. Any suggestion by the First Minister to the Scottish Parliament that the meeting was fleeting or opportunistic is simply untrue. Most seriously, Parliament has been repeatedly misled on a number of occasions about the nature of the meeting of the 2nd of April 2018. The First Minister told Parliament, see official report of 8th, 10th and the 17th of January 2019, that she first learned of the complaints against me when I visited her home on the 2nd of April 2018. That is untrue and is a breach of the ministerial code," a spokesperson for the Scottish Government said. The First Minister and the Permanent Secretary stand by what has been said to Parliament and in written evidence to the committee. The Permanent Secretary has also already provided detailed answers in person to the committee and will provide further oral evidence on Tuesday. The First Minister looks forward to answering questions when she appears later this month. In relation to the ministerial code referral, Mr Hamilton has the freedom to investigate as he feels is appropriate and we will not prejudge that process, a spokesperson for Mrs Sturgeon said. The First Minister entirely rejects Mr Salmond's claims about the ministerial code. "We should always remember that the roots of this issue lie in complaints made by women about Alex Salmond's behaviour whilst he was First Minister, aspects of which he has conceded. It is not surprising therefore that he continues to try to divert focus from that by seeking to malign the reputation of the First Minister and by spinning false conspiracy theories. The First Minister is concentrating on fighting the pandemic, stands by what she has said, and will address these matters in full when she appears at committee in the coming weeks." Ms Sturgeon has also come under heavy criticism over her SNP government's handling of the coronavirus pandemic in Scotland. On Friday, reports emerged of a shambolic start to Scotland's COVID-19 vaccine programme, with frontline NHS workers forced to wait for several hours to receive the jab, and GPs complaining they are already running low on supplies. A Scottish Government spokesman said, "Those who have received their first dose will get the second within the 12-week period." This approach has been supported by the Scottish Academy of Medical Royal Colleges and faculties as well as including immunology specialists. "We have updated MSPs regularly since the start of the programme, and will continue to do so that they can keep constituents fully informed." The JCVI priority lists represent 99% of the preventable mortality from COVID-19 and throughout the delivery of the vaccination programme, we will be guided by the clinical expertise of the JCVI. the MHRA, and our own senior clinical advisors. The Health Secretary will update Parliament next week on the next steps and further logistical detail of the vaccination program, and is committed to giving as much detail as we can while rightly allowing our teams to focus on the task of delivering the biggest vaccination program ever seen in Scotland.